So this one's a bit trickier to be able to work out because not everybody that's running has the same goal. You could ask yourself questions like, what happens if a new Conservative candidate gets onto a council where they have to ask questions around pride parades or LGBTQ issues or funding for women's refuge, things that they seem to be religiously against? Or what happens if you get a Voices for Freedom candidate on who is pledged to make the country ungovernable? What does that actually mean? In reality, we know what can happen if you get a council with one or two of these people on who try and spread their misinformation around. We've seen it in the past when Councillor Siggy Henry was elected to Hamilton City Council. She was one lone voice who ran for council on an environmental stance, ignoring the fact and downplaying the fact she was vehemently anti-fluoride and anti-vaccine. Once she got onto council, she started pushing her own agenda, and she'd say really smart things like immigrants don't know how to use toilets, they're immigrants, and just flash a bit of leg if you get pulled over by a cop for speeding past a school. It's what me and my daughter do. She was completely ineffective on council, voted down by a whole bunch of people who knew exactly what they were doing and who were there to look out for the people that had voted them in. But you get a couple on your council, that's when you get problems, because your council has to make decisions around things like climate change, public safety, events that are going on, and making sure that those councils are able to deliver those in a way that's accessible for the majority of people is really important. And if these candidates are there fighting against that becomes problematic. The other thing that could possibly happen is a commissioner. Now, we saw this in Tauranga where they basically weren't working. There were a whole bunch of issues with that council, and the government stepped in and says, right, commissioner to run things, which again shows that the council was ungovernable. It was pulled back because it couldn't achieve the goals or do the job that was in front of it. And by having people who are deliberately standing up against everything that a government puts forward to make something ungovernable, that's what's going to happen. The democratic right to choose your council is taken away from you because they can't work together. And that's the real risk here. We run the risk of losing steps in our democracy that we become used to, that we know how it works, that we know how important it is. Because these people don't want to work as a team. And we've seen that as a country, we can work together as a team. They're just loud and obnoxious about the fact that they can't. But they'll make everybody else pay the price for it if they manage to get elected. So let's hope today goes well. Woo!